Have you ever noticed how uncomfortable silence feels sometimes? When you're alone, your mind starts talking, and you reach for your phone, music, or a podcast, anything to fill that silence. I used to be exactly like that. I always needed people around. I felt alive only in company, with friends, at events, surrounded by energy. And whenever I found myself alone, on a bus, walking home, or just sitting quietly, I'd grab my headphones, music, podcasts, voices. I needed noise to avoid being alone with my thoughts. My father used to tell me, "Son, learn to spend time with yourself." Back then, I didn't really understand what he meant. But years later, life forced me to slow down, and solitude became one of the most powerful tools I've ever discovered. For a long time, I lived surrounded by people. I liked the attention, the laughter, the conversations. But as I grew older, my life changed. I started working from home. My social circle shrank. And for the first time, I found myself truly alone. At first, it felt strange, even painful. I missed the constant energy of others. But something beautiful started to happen, slowly, quietly. Every evening, after long hours of work, I'd go outside. I'd take a tram that circled my neighborhood, just to feel the city moving. I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't scroll through my phone. I just watched. And for some reason, that short ride made me feel connected. Not to people, but to life itself. I began to enjoy those moments. I noticed my thoughts becoming clearer, my plans sharper. And I realized something. Solitude wasn't loneliness. It was space. Space for clarity, self-discovery, and peace. Most people confuse being alone with being lonely, but they're not the same. Loneliness is when you crave someone's presence and feel the emptiness of not having it. Solitude is when you choose to be alone and use that time to connect with yourself. In solitude, you don't run away from people. You simply pause the noise of the world to hear your own voice again. That's when your mind recalibrates. You process emotions you've been ignoring. You reflect on decisions. You finally face the things you've been avoiding. Think of solitude as a mental detox. Just like your body needs rest after physical work, your mind needs stillness after constant stimulation. In our modern world, we're overstimulated. Notifications, messages, content everywhere. We've become addicted to input. But creativity, wisdom, and clarity don't grow in chaos. They grow in silence. When I started spending more time alone, I noticed 3 powerful changes. 1. I became more structured. Before, my life felt reactive, like I was constantly responding to what others wanted. But when you're alone, you finally see what you want. You start planning your day not around people, but around your goals. I began to write down daily priorities, and my productivity doubled. 2. I made better decisions. In solitude, you hear your inner logic more clearly. When you share your problems with too many people, you get too many opinions, and confusion grows. But when you sit alone, you can weigh everything calmly. You can see both the problem and the solution from the same seat. It's like being both the player and the coach, watching yourself from the outside. That distance gives you wisdom. 3. I solved emotional clutter. Being alone allowed me to finally face old pain, mistakes, and unresolved issues. Instead of burying them under distractions, I looked them in the eye. And one by one, I dealt with them. I learned forgiveness. I learned patience. And I realized solitude wasn't isolation, it was healing. Solitude is powerful, but only if you use it intentionally. Here are practical ways to make the most of your alone time. 1. Start your day in silence. Spend 10 to 15 minutes each morning without music or your phone. Sit by the window, drink coffee, and just think. Ask yourself simple questions. What matters most today? What do I want to feel by the end of this day? What can I let go of? That quiet reflection sets the tone for your entire day. 2. Journal your thoughts. Writing is one of the most effective tools for clarity. You don't need a fancy notebook. Just start typing or scribbling. Write about your worries, your goals, what you learned today. You'll be surprised how much mental energy gets freed up once it's on paper. 3. Take solo walks, without headphones. No podcasts, no music, just you, your thoughts, and your surroundings. At first, it might feel boring, but give it time. You'll start noticing small things, sounds, patterns, ideas floating in. Your brain will process problems naturally. 4. Ask yourself better questions. When you're alone, don't just think, reflect intentionally. Ask, what am I avoiding right now? What do I really want next year to look like? If I could remove one bad habit from my life, what would it be? Solitude gives you access to deeper answers, but only if you dare to ask deeper questions. You don't have to meditate to get results. You can simply talk to yourself. Yes, literally. Have a conversation with your mind. What do you need today? What's bothering you? Why am I reacting this way? It may sound strange, but self-dialogue builds emotional intelligence faster than any book. Of course, solitude doesn't mean isolation. We all need connection, family, friends, love. But if you don't know how to be alone, you'll never be truly free, even in relationships. Why? Because you'll depend on others for happiness. You'll fear silence. You'll feel lost when left alone. True balance means being whole on your own, and then sharing that wholeness with others. When you know how to enjoy your own company, your relationships improve too. You stop expecting others to fill your emptiness. Instead, you bring peace, stability, and clarity into every interaction. So solitude isn't antisocial. It's the foundation of healthy social life. If solitude scares you, that's a sign you need it most. The discomfort you feel at first is your mind detoxing from overstimulation. You're not bored, you're healing. So when you sit in silence and start feeling restless, don't reach for your phone. Sit through it. Let your thoughts come and go. You'll soon notice a shift. Your mind becomes calmer, and your creativity increases. Remember, growth happens in quiet moments. Confidence is built in solitude and expressed in society. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this. Solitude isn't loneliness, it's strength. It's the time when you meet yourself, when you build discipline, when you become the person capable of achieving everything you dream about. So don't be afraid of silence. Don't run from being alone. Learn to sit with your thoughts, and you'll discover that inside you, there's someone worth listening to. Because in the end, solitude doesn't separate you from the world. It prepares you to face it stronger, wiser, and more focused than ever before. Thanks for watching. If this video resonated with you, take a moment today, just 10 quiet minutes, to reconnect with yourself. You might be surprised how much peace and direction you'll find there.